Hello, welcome everyone. Today we have Heather Ferris, who is a Pinterest marketing expert. And today we're going to be talking about Pinterest ads versus Facebook ads, because I know you guys want to make sure that when you are spending money on ads, you want to make sure that you're putting your dollars in the right place. Welcome, Heather. So I know that you've really done your extensive research, and I know you run Facebook ads and Pinterest ads. So can you tell us a little bit about what the difference is?
So the biggest difference with Pinterest ads versus Facebook ads is the platform itself. So the users and the whole reason they're even on the platform is entirely different than each other. It's like comparing apples to oranges. So with Pinterest, people are actually coming to the platform with the intent to purchase an item or invest in something. It could be as simple as a cookbook, like they're looking for recipes and they end up buying a cookbook, or they could be like decorating their home and purchase a bunch of home decor stuff. So the user intent on Pinterest is different. It's not a social media platform like a lot of people make it out to be. It is a search engine. So therefore, the people on Pinterest are very much in that search mindset, comparing product to product, really doing their research and planning in advance. Whereas people on Facebook are more often than not impulse buyers, I have found. I know that's my own experience with Facebook ads. I will see something enticing like a swimsuit I just purchased recently and click through and purchase it because of the deal that Facebook offered me in that ad, or the advertiser offered me on that Facebook ad.
Do you think that makes it better or worse in terms of, advertising on Pinterest or Facebook? Because does it matter if they make an impulse buy versus, a pre-planned buy?
No, I think it actually, both platforms, when used correctly together, can be a really powerhouse strategy for your ads. So a lot of our clients will actually run top of funnel ads on Facebook because they're getting more bang for their buck, like right away. Because Facebook ads and the way they optimize a lot faster because they are a they are a social media platform. And there is just so many more people on Facebook. So their ads network is also a lot older than Pinterest. So when you use them together, it can be really, really fun to watch those results roll in. So you could use, for example, I said the top of funnel on Facebook, and then on Pinterest, you could do bottom of funnel and recapture any of those leaks where someone may have clicked on your ad, saw your landing page or product and clicked off because they were in the checkout line. They were maybe in the car pickup line. They weren't in the process right then or in the mindset to grab their card and check out. And then you'll capture them back on Pinterest. And I have found that strategy actually works really well. So just because your user intent is different doesn't mean that either platform is really better than the other in the long run.
Can you break that down for us? So let's say, we have, viewers on here who've never even done a Facebook ad, they've never done a Pinterest ad. So what does that mean exactly, getting them first through Facebook and then on the back end? Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say I'm scrolling Facebook today and I see that same swimsuit ad and I clicked on it and I saw the suit and I picked a color, but maybe the size I wanted wasn't necessarily in stock. So I navigate away from the page and I go about my business. A week later, I log onto Facebook and I see an ad for that swimsuit I wanted. And it reminds me, oh, let me see if that swimsuit's in stock. Now it's in stock. I clicked on the Pinterest pin, went back to the website. So originally I came from Facebook, then I left, and then I came back via Pinterest. So you really pushed that sale from Facebook, but you captured that sale from Pinterest. So they came back and bought the swimsuit from Pinterest. So that would be just a simple example.
Okay, so that has to do with the pixels and, putting the pixel on your page. And then when they're on Pinterest, because in Pinterest, they are more in a buying mindset, whereas in Facebook, they were more in just a scrolling and socializing mindset.
Right. You're exactly right.
What if they were to just use Pinterest ads? Is there any case where it would just be beneficial to opt out of Facebook ads and just use Pinterest ads?
Yeah, so what we're finding with our own clients currently, and this is like when we're filming this is early 2021. So if you're watching this in later 2021, like keep that in mind. So right now, what we're seeing with Facebook ads for our clients, and I don't run Facebook ads. I just want to make that completely transparent. I have ran them for myself, but not for my clients. I just run the Pinterest ads. So my clients who are also running parallel Facebook ads, we're seeing the cost per acquisition after the iOS changes actually increase by quite a lot. So whereas we used to be able to get email addresses for like $1 to $1.50, we're now seeing $2 to $2.50.
Mhm.
So we're seeing higher acquisition costs and higher acquisition costs on sales as well. So really, you have to think about what your ultimate goal is. And if you have the money to invest in Facebook ads alongside running ads on Pinterest, it might be worth your while to test it out. Really, in the beginning, if you've never ran ads before, if people are watching this and they're new to ads, you probably want to choose one platform or the other because they do require a budget. And I always tell my clients who are running Pinterest ads, I need about $1,000 a month to start. So you might need 2,000 or more on Facebook versus a lower dollar amount to really test and see what happens on Pinterest. I've actually been running Pinterest ads recently where I do a search only consideration campaign. So what I mean by that is it's a traffic campaign,
Mhm.
and my placement for my ads is only in search. So I'm using keywords, and it's only the ads are only placed in the browser for that person if they search for a keyword that I'm trying to target.
Mhm.
So I'm actually testing those at $5 per day, and I'm seeing almost a 2x ROAS at about 6 weeks in. So it does take longer to optimize on Pinterest. Just in general, your ads are going to be 7 to 21 days for optimization timeframe,
Mhm.
whereas on Facebook, it's like 3 to 7 days. You could really start seeing a return on your investment.
What if you were kind of in a rush to test things? Can you just kind of do $500 in a day? Or why is it important to instead do less money, but over a longer period of time?
Well, specifically with Pinterest, so you can definitely get away with something like that on Facebook. Do like $500 for 3 days, and you would
Mhm.
see some data. Because Pinterest is a search engine and pinners are what we call them, pinners are planners. They are planning in advance. They are oftentimes looking for things now, but they had no intention to actually purchase that item for maybe 2 weeks to even 6, 9 months, depending on the product, the audience, whatever niche they're in. A really good example of this that may not work for you for like $500 over 2 days would be baby stuff. The baby niche and the motherhood niche on Pinterest is huge. It's one of the biggest ones on there. So new moms who just got pregnant may be looking for nursery things, but they're not ready to buy those nursery things at 12 weeks pregnant. It's going to be more like 20 to 36 weeks pregnant that they're actually purchasing those. Just know that from experience from 2 children. I didn't purchase anything for the nursery until we were well into the second, almost third
Mhm.
trimester, just for sanity's sake. But that's just a really good example. Like they may be planning now, but they may come back and purchase that item later because they are saving pins to their boards, and pinners do come back to those.
Are you able to take us into the back end of creating a Pinterest pin
Yeah,
advertisement? Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and do
sure.
that. So that way
Let
people can see step by step exactly how to do this and just your process and how you're thinking about it as you create it. So I'm going to just sorry, I need to share the
All right. So this is my business hub. So when you log into your business account, this is the very first thing that you'll see. And what you're going to want to do, so there's a couple of things that you want to make sure are in place before you ever turn on a Pinterest ad. And that's to make sure that you have your billing set up inside of your ads manager and you have your tag placed as well as your event codes. So you want to make sure you have those in place. And once all of that is set up, what you're going to do is go to create ad. So very important note, do not ever hit the red promote button on a pin on the front end of Pinterest. It's like boosting a post on Facebook, and we're not going to do that.
Mhm. And
So,
why not?
okay, so you don't have as much control over targeting, just the same way as boosting a post on Facebook. It's very limited in the controls of what you can actually do and see.
Mhm.
So it's just very best practice to create your ad inside your ads manager.
Okay.
So you start out by creating a campaign and you choose your objective. So there's two main objectives that most everyone on Pinterest are going to run ads to, and that's either traffic, which is now called consideration, or conversions, unless you're an e-commerce store and then you have the ability to promote your catalog, which is like your Shopify store.
Mhm.
So we're going to focus on a traffic campaign for this example. So my naming conventions is basically whatever that campaign is for the month. So typically I'll do like April traffic search only, like that one that was in there. whatever the overall campaign format is. You could also name this by targeting, but I like to say that for the ad group. I'm going to put this one into pause, but you would leave this as active. Now on Pinterest, we just recently got the ability to do campaign budget optimization with traffic campaigns. Just like on Facebook, the campaign budget optimization, it's only for traffic though. So let's say we wanted to start at $10 per day and run continuous ads. So this is just, you need to hop into your ads manager once a day and just check the health of your campaigns. And I like to do the continuously running because you're not strangleholding the algorithm and delivering your ads in the best way possible. So if they see dates or budgets where it's like a lifetime budget or only run your ad through these dates, the algorithm doesn't typically deliver in the right, like in the best way possible. So name your ad group, whatever you want to name it. Again, I typically put my targeting here in here. So like US, females, English, keywords, something like that. Whatever makes sense for you. And then this new targeting dashboard is actually a lot different if you watch any of my Pinterest ads videos. This is new compared to what you'll see over there. So in most situations, you can just choose select your own strategy. And then it just opens up the targeting here. So if you wanted to add an audience list to your campaign, you would need to first create it, allow 48 hours for it to populate, and then you could add it in here. You can go ahead and create it while you're creating your ad and turn your ad on. It just, the ad won't deliver to that audience until the list is populated. So keep that in mind. And then if you wanted to just do keywords, then you would open up the keywords and interest tab. And then you add keywords and interests. So in the add keywords box, if you've already pre-planned your keyword research for your campaign, now is when you would paste that in. Or you can search for keywords here and you can see some of the things that I've searched for in the past. So let's say if we wanted to search for like kosher meals. Okay, so this is where you would input those keyword search terms. Maybe you wanted to do that keyword research in the search bar here. So typically they actually show up. So maybe there aren't kosher meals in this. So maybe we do like nursery. And this is not uncommon that there are not keywords in here. Here we go, nursing school. So you could come in here and then add these keywords. There's also an add all results button. So if you scrolled through here and you're like, yeah, I like all of these keywords, let's add them all. You would then add your keywords there. Now, one quick note, expanded targeting is typically always on unless you turn it off. And it just basically, expanded targeting on Pinterest means it's going to take the image and find like content and present that ad to people who are also looking at that.
Okay.
So if you don't want to do that, you can uncheck that box.
Is it a good idea to leave it unchecked, or would you check it? What's best practice?
Typically, I use expanded targeting as an optimization tool later. So I typically just have it turned on default, let it run, unless there's just something very specific that we're running ads to that there's not a ton of related content. So I have one client, they're a social media marketing company. So for that social media marketing client, we use a lot of stock imagery and we use a lot of his own like logo imagery on there, and there's not related imagery for him to actually show up in. So we turn the expanded targeting off in that case. Okay, so you would move on down to the demographics section. So one suggestion that I will make for everyone, it doesn't really matter what your budget, what your ad strategy is. In the beginning, don't try and go and restrict your genders, your ages, your locations, languages, and devices. When you do that, you're actually giving the algorithm a lot less data up front to work with and people to go and find for you. So I use all of the demographics as an optimization tool 7 to 14 days into the ad. So if you know for sure you don't want to target men, that's okay, take them out. A lot of people on the platform, especially the older accounts, are considered unspecified because they didn't ask for a gender back in 2010. So you always probably want to leave that one on. So at the very least, if you want to take males out, you can definitely do that. if you are promoting alcohol or any sort of adult restricted advertising, you have to make sure you check that box. This is not appropriate for 99% of advertisers. Locations, leave it wide open as long as you're targeting all US locations, and languages and devices again as well. And then in this case, because I was doing a search only placement, so the difference between the two, just really quick, if someone is just browsing on the platform, they're looking in their search feed, or not in their search feed, their home feed, which is, it used to be called the smart feed, that is browse. Whereas if they are searching for very specific keywords like how to decorate a nursery, that's search. So in this particular example that I'm walking you through, I named the ad group or the campaign search only. So that's where if we're targeting keywords and I only want my ad to show up in search, I would choose that box. Again, there's question marks here if you have any further questions on that. In most cases, if you're not doing a search only campaign, just leave this on all. And then because this is a campaign budget optimization, you can't make any changes at this level on the budget. Optimization and delivery, I would suggest leaving as automatic because traffic campaigns on Pinterest are the oldest ad algorithm, and they are very, very good with the automatic budget and bidding. And then at this point, you would just choose your Pinterest images. So let's say we wanted to promote these two. I would check the box, and this is where you can add your images in that box. There's a plus button, but I don't suggest doing that. I actually suggest uploading your images to your profile first, optimizing them for the user experience. So title, description, text overlay, making sure they're really optimized and they're pinned to the most appropriate board, and then pull them into the ads manager in here instead of adding it through here. That way it's also optimized for organic search.
Okay, now I see that if you want to scroll up a little bit, actually, I'm curious about that one pin. Sorry, I meant down. In terms of like which pins you want to choose to promote, would they be just pins that are just general pins that would go to your blog, or would you specifically use this type of thing to promote, let's say, your freebie offer or growing your email list? So those pins that maybe may not get as much organic traffic, like those ones?
It really just varies based on your niche and your business. So a really great example of this is the beauty brand that I represent for Pinterest ads. We promote, since she's an e-commerce store, we promote direct to her actual listing pages. Whereas someone like myself, who's a digital marketer and I have digital product funnels, I could promote a free like landing page where they're signing up for an opt-in. In this example of what you're asking, a good example of this would be one of my clients that she's a beauty brand e-commerce store. So we ship and sell physical beauty products. So in her case, we direct those pins straight to her shop listings. Whereas someone like me, who's a digital marketer, even someone like yourself, Melina, where you have an email list that you're trying to grow with maybe a free PDF, you would create a landing page where the only thing the person can do that clicks on that pin can do is actually sign up for your email list. So you would create the pin for that. And I have an example in here. I can actually show you. This one right here is to get more leads to your service-based business. And it goes to my strategy guide that I give away for free. So that's an entry point into my funnel. So those are the two differences.
Yeah, that answered my question. And it was funny because that's the one I wanted you to scroll down to, because I was like, oh, I see a landing page
PDF.
one. Yeah, the PDF.
Yes.
Would you want to use Pinterest to kind of, again, very similar to Facebook, make sure that the new user is kind of at the top of your funnel getting to know you, or would you promote directly for that product, or does it depend on the price point? So for example, with your beauty brand that you're promoting, you know, if she's selling something for maybe $20, it makes sense to just go in, but if it's something for a couple $100, then you might want to take it through a funnel.
Exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. And that's my approach as well.
Perfect.
So after you choose your pins, if you shrink this window down and you go to review selected pins, this is just the last step to make sure that the landing page URL is where you want it to go. If you have additional tracking things that you wanted to add, you can do that here. If you wanted to rename the ad, maybe you were using a pink version versus a blue version, you can do that as well. And then really you just launch it. So after that, you hit launch and it will, as long as you chose active in the very beginning in the campaign setup, it will go into review, and it's really fast review time these days, like 15 to 20 minutes, and it
Oh,
turns off.
wow. Okay, because sometimes with Facebook ads, it does take a couple of days to review an
Yeah.
ad.
These days, I'm seeing my ads turn on, and it's all UTC time. So I'm seeing my ads on within like the first within an hour usually.
Mhm. That's really good. And so what does a Pinterest ad look like? Does it look like an ad? Does it say sponsored, or does it just look like a regular pin?
Let me show you, because a lot of people don't even realize that they are ads unless they're really paying attention. And that's what makes Pinterest ads so great, because they have work to make them really native. They don't really stand out in that feed as much. So this is my client actually. It just says promoted by and the URL there. So you have your pin title will show up. It's like the first 40 characters. And then it just says promoted by. And then again, this is a retargeting ad. And for example, I was just on their website shopping for this pan right before we got on this call. And now they're hitting me with a retargeting ad. So
Interesting. So it
yeah,
definitely does blend in a lot more. So it doesn't stand out like an ad. Whereas with Facebook, you
right,
can definitely tell when something is an ad. And not just because
right.
it says sponsored. And even with YouTube, you can definitely tell something's an ad on the side because it has a little yellow ad sticker. So this is really
Yeah,
great if you want to kind of low key advertise.
fit right in.
Okay, so now you guys know how to actually go into Pinterest and create a Pinterest ad. Um, and in terms of Facebook, I'll definitely do another video on how to create Facebook ads, but I really wanted to make this video with Heather to just show you guys the difference because a lot of people are familiar with Facebook ads and not so familiar with Pinterest. Is there anything else, Heather, that you kind of want to leave the viewers with?
Really, if you are interested in running promoted pins, know that you're not alone. There are plenty of videos on YouTube, but also has a really great ads team, and they're not as difficult to get a hold of as they are on Facebook. So there are Pinterest ad reps that are willing and ready to help you out with any questions that you might have. And when you actually start advertising on Pinterest, they may very well reach out to you.
Perfect. All right, guys, you have all the information to make your choice. So thank you, Heather, for being with us today. And for the next video, I'm going to link it right here. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.